7th, 8th, and 9th unit in this block 3. But yesterday's last subtopic, that is modeling. Okay, we were discussing the modeling types of modeling in our previous class, yesterday's class. Last one is modeling types of modeling, the topic we are discussing yesterday. We were discussing yesterday in the type of modeling. First one is live modeling. Okay, second one is symbolic modeling. Third one is self-modeling. Fourth one is participated modeling, or you can say participant modeling. And last fifth one is covert modeling. Covert modeling is just you have to, as a therapist, as a psychologist, as a counselor, when we are using this type of modeling technique. So just
please spell it, sir. Covert.
COVERT. I repeat, total 5 modeling techniques, modeling types in this subtopic. Types of modeling is a subtopic. We were discussing yesterday the last one.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So first one is live modeling. Live modeling refers to watching a model in a live basis, like perform a specific behavior. That is live modeling. Symbolic model means modeling is the second one. When we are not in a position to show that particular modeling directly, so some sort of symbols, some sort of tapes, we will show some sort of pictures. That is symbolic modeling. That is second type of modeling. Self-modeling, it refers some sort of modeling. As a therapist, we need to show that, okay, how to do this modeling. That is from the client side as well as the client side also. That is third one, self-modeling. Fourth one is the participant modeling. In this participant modeling, the therapist shows the type of how to do this modeling. For example, communication. If there's any problem of communication, some type of miscommunication, or you can say misarticulation. So in this case, so how to pronounce that word? Okay, so that is participate modeling. Finally, last one is covert modeling. COVERT, covert modeling. Covert modeling means, so some modeling techniques, some sort of behaviors, be better to ask them to visualize, imagine. If you act like this, so this is the way you have to show this type of activities. You need to ask them to imagine. For example, if you want to become a cricketer, if you want to become a teacher, just you visualize, you imagine what will be the activities or what will be the functionings of the teacher. This is the way ask the client, ask the patient, ask the individual to visualize, to imagine of this type of activities. It is covert modeling. So the 5 types of modeling in our previous subtopic. Okay. Now, the 7th unit is humanistic approach. Humanistic approach of Maslow and Rogers. The full form of Maslow is Abraham Maslow, Carl Rogers. I repeat, Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. Humanistic approach is the 7th unit. In this third block, first unit, or you can see in our order, first, right from beginning, this is the 7th unit of our curriculum, or you can say our syllabus of your course 2. Okay. So here, one is humanistic approach. Humanistic approach of Carl Rogers and Carl Rogers, C-A-R-L, R-O-Z-D-R-S, Carl Rogers, R-O-Z-D-R-S. Briefly, in some books, R-O-G-R-S also. Rogers, R-O-Z-D-R-S. In some books, R-O-G-R-S. Rogers. Carl, full name of this particular scientist is psychologist Carl Rogers. He is the father of humanistic approach. This approach is supported by Abraham Maslow also. Abraham Maslow, M-A-S-L-O-W, Abraham Maslow. He is the American scientist or a psychologist. Human psychology is a branch of psychology which emphasizes understanding human behavior and experience from a holistic manner. Here, in humanistic approach of Carl Rogers, the most important that is this technique of the human behavior. Here, the main focus is on the human experience and human behavior. We need to understand the humans. We need to understand the individuals from his perspective. Okay, so that is the main principle of this humanistic approach of Carl Rogers. Humanistic psychologists always emphasize the importance of positive relations to the individual, or you can say client or any patient. We need to maintain that sort of relation to the client, to the that is individual, so that he will understand himself in better way. As a psychologist, as a therapist, we need to encourage the human. We need to encourage the client. We need to encourage the patient. We need to encourage the individual. Always we have to give the important to his values, his beliefs. The main principles of humanistic approach is self-actualization. Self-actualization means individuals have an innate drive to reach their full potentiality and become the best version of them or best person of their own self. Self-actualization is that this is the process of any human. This is the fundamental principle of individuals, according to the Carl Rogers, not according to myself. According to the Carl Rogers, self-actualization is that individual or any human have an innate drive, innate capabilities to fulfill their potentialities, to identify their potentialities, and to become the best version of them, best person of from their self. That is self-actualization. It is a continuous process, right from beginning to end of his life. According to the Carl Rogers humanistic approach, the first key principle of humanistic approach is self-actualization. Self-actualization means any individual, the human, try to become a good person, capable person. That is a continuous process from his life, total life, right from beginning to end of his life. That is the first key principle of self-actualization. Or you can say humanistic approach, first principle is self-actualization. Number two, subjective experience. Humanistic psychology emphasizes the importance of subjective experience, including emotions, perceptions, understanding in their own behavior, understanding their own behavior. Got it? That is the subjective experience. The personal experience, experience from the person, experience of his own life, experience of his own. Yeah, something you are asking.
Yes, sir. This is the second one. First one is self-actualization, and second
Yes.
one is subjective experience.
Second key principle of humanistic approach is subjective experience of the individual. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yes. So why? Because see, please try to listen. This humanistic approach plays a vital role in any counseling process. Most important humanistic approach in any way of in any type of maybe that we know there are different types of counseling, direct counseling, non-direct counseling, then mixed, I can say eclectic counseling. No, so in this direct to indirect, mostly it is in the indirect counseling, maybe direct counseling also, any type of counseling, any session. We have some sessions of first section, means of maintaining a good relation, this rapport build up. These are all the various stages of counseling. No, previously you already discussed in our previous PG classes. But there are approaches of counseling and then stages of counseling. In any stage, in any session, even the initial session, the last session, even the middle sessions also. So generally, we use this type of humanistic approach in any count, so that the counseling process will be in a significant way. So second key principle of humanistic approach is subject to experience, the person's experience from his own life, experience from his own stages of life, different stages of life. But third one is that personal agency. Individuals are seen as active agents capable of making choices and taking responsibilities of their own activities. So individual will hold the responsibility. He is capable of holding the responsibility of his own life. That is the personal agency. First one is self-actualization. Self-actualization means always he will be in a position to good better or using his full potentialities to become a perfect person. That is the first. Second one is subject experience. Always he will have some own experience. Out of his experience, out of his individual's experience, he will learn so many things. That is the subject experience. Third one is personal agency, means individuals are seen as active agent capable of making choices and taking the responsibility. Okay, that is the personal agency. Third key principle of humanistic approach is personal agency. Fourth one is unconditional positive regard. You can say it's UCPR or you can say UPR, unconditional positive regard. In this unconditional positive regard, it is the principle from the psychologist side. When you are giving the unconditional positive regard, means no conditions from the psychologist side, no conditions from the therapist side. So offering unconditional positive regard to the client, that is the key principle of humanistic approach. Fourth key principle of humanistic approach, no conditions from our side, no condition from the counselor side, no condition from the therapist side. We are open. Any type of client, maybe he may be the murderer, he may be culprit, he or she may be in a vulnerable condition. Accept him as it is, as he is, as she is. Got it? That is unconditional. Always be positive regarding the client's issues. That is known as unconditional positive regard. This is another important key principle of humanistic approach. Fifth one is empathy. What is empathy? Anyone?
Thinking
Understanding of others'
what
realities.
Understanding his feelings and position. Standing in of other person.
Understanding from his perspective. Perspective. From his angle or from her angle. Understanding the client, understanding the person, understanding the individual from their perspective, not from our perspective. That is empathy. There's a difference between sympathy and empathy. Here, empathy is that we need to understand the client or individual from his angle, not from our side, from his perspective. That is the
what we will be doing if we were in that position. That is empathy.
Yes. If you are there in that position, so how you feel, how your emotions, how you behave in that condition, that you need to understand. Got it? Any doubt?
Sir, can you say that it is thinking on others' point of view?
Yes. Thinking, understanding.
Understanding.
Understanding from others' point of view.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah. That is empathy. Fifth great principle of humanistic approach. We are discussing the principles of humanistic approach. Key principles of humanistic approach of Carl Rogers. First one is self-actualization. Second is the subjective experiences. Third one is the personal agency. Fourth one is the unconditional positive regard. Fifth one is the empathy. And the sixth one is holistic perspective. The humanistic approach considers the whole person, including their physical, emotional, social, spiritual dimensions. Got it? Holistic approach is that. Holistic perspective is that. Oh, we are not supposed to see only the personal aspects. We need to see the holistic perspective of the individual. All developmental aspects, like his personal dimension, that means physical dimension, emotional dimension, social dimension, and moral and spiritual dimension. That is the holistic perspective of human. Yeah. So according to the humanistic approach, we need to understand the person in a holistic manner, not in one dimension. That is the sixth key principle of humanistic approach. Okay. So this humanistic approach is developed by both Carl Rogers as well as the Abraham Maslow. Okay. This is one part of humanistic approach. Now, the second part of humanistic approach is that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You heard about this hierarchy of needs in your previous previous courses. Maslow's theory of hierarchy, or you can say Maslow hierarchy of needs. There are 5 important hierarchy of needs. This is also known as the pyramidal shape, Maslow hierarchy of needs. Okay. 5 levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I repeat, first one is the humanistic approach. There are some 6 key principles of humanistic approach. Now we are continuing the same humanistic approach with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. In this Maslow hierarchy of needs, there are 5 important levels of this theory, or you can say hierarchy of needs. First one, physiological needs. Physiological means at the base of the hierarchy are physiological needs. The first step of pyramidal shape, the lower, I can say base, the basic need of any human, that is known as the physiological need. This is also known as primary needs. These physical, or you can say physiological needs, also known as the primary needs, or the first order needs. In this primary needs, in this physiological needs, one is, in these needs, air, water, food, shelter, sleep, and other bodily necessities like sex. These all count under physiological needs. I repeat, physiological needs means which include the most basic requirements of human survival. These are the basic needs of human survival in various levels. In his stages of development, the human development, in the stages of human development, these needs are required to his or to her survival. Those are air, water, food, shelter, sleep, and other bodily necessities or needs. Until these physiological needs are fulfilled, individuals are primarily driven by the desire to fulfill them. So these basic needs are to be fulfilled. Otherwise, there may be some psychological disturbances in their lives. So that is the reason these physiological needs are to be fulfilled. in their various stages of development of any individual. Number one. So we are discussing the hierarchy of need. The first basic need is physiological need. Second one is safety need. This need also known as safety and need of safety and security. Need of safety and security. I am safe in my family. I am secure in my family. Okay. Once physiological needs are satisfied, individuals are motivated by safety needs. Safety needs involve a sense of security, stability, and protection from harm or danger. These include physical safety, financial security, a stable environment, and protection from threats. Safety needs reflect the desire of stability and predictability in one's life. I am safe in my family. I am secure in my environment. No harm to my family. It is life. This all comes under the safety needs or needs of safety and security. Second type of needs according to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. First one is physiological need. Second one is the safety need. Third one is social needs or need of belongingness. Social needs or need of belongingness. The third level of this hierarchy consisting of social needs, which includes the desire for social interactions, companionship, and a sense of belongingness. This includes need for love, affection, friendship, and acceptance from the others. I am belonging to so-and-so family. I am affiliated to so-and-so community. I am belonging to so-and-so society. So need of belongingness. And you can also say it is a need of love and affection or social needs. So these needs to be fulfilled so that social interactions develop. So third one is social needs, or you can say need of belongingness or need of love and affection. Fourth one is esteem needs. Esteem, E-S-T-E-M, esteem needs. Once the love and belongingness needs are fulfilled, so individuals are motivated by esteem needs. Esteem needs includes one is self-esteem, another one is self-image. Need of self-esteem, need of self-image. Okay, self-esteem and self-image. Or you can say in other point of view, there are some other sub needs in this esteem needs. Here in this needs self-respect, self-confidence, and a positive self-image. Okay, self-respect, self-esteem, and positivity of his own image. This all comes under esteem needs. Fourth need is esteem needs. Fifth one is self-actualization. The highest level in Maslow's hierarchy is self-actualization, representing the fulfillment of an individual's highest potential and the actualization of their unique talents, abilities, and aspirations. Self-actualization involves personal growth, self-discovery, and other goals of his life. Self-actualization, as I mentioned in the initial stage of our topic, self-actualization is the main backbone of this humanistic approach. The individual always try to reach that self-actualization, whatever his goal in his life, whatever his aspirations, whatever his ambitions. According to the humanistic approach, according to these Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow, the individuals also always right from beginning of their life till the end of their life, they'll try to reach that actual position, or you can self-actualization stage. These 5 needs are known as the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Physiological needs, second safety needs, third social needs, or you can say belongingness needs. Fourth one is esteem needs. Fifth one is self-actualization needs. Then what happens if these needs are not fulfilled? Got it? There are some, these are all needs are important, very significant needs in the human life. If these needs are not fulfilled, what happens? These needs are not fulfilled. If not fulfillment of non-fulfillment of needs leads some sort of maladaptive behavior. Got it? If physiological needs are not fulfilled, what happens? This is the basic needs as I mentioned. Non-fulfillment of these basic physiological needs like food, water, shelter, and other bodily needs, what happens? This can lead to disparate and maladaptive behavior such as stealing or engaging in risky activities to meet these needs. So if these basic needs are not fulfilled, these non-fulfillment of this basic needs leads some sort of misbehaving attitudes. Now, if the safety needs are not fulfilled, when individuals do not feel safe due to a lack of personal security, employment, or proper health, not fulfillment of these all things, they might engage in behavior like aggression, substance abuse, or access to risk taking to cope with their needs. So, safe, if the person is not safe, he is not or she is not in secure condition, what happens? It leads some sort of aggressive behavior. Third one, if love and belongingness are not fulfilled, the absence of healthy social connection and love can result in emotional disturbances. If I am not attached to any society, if I am not belonging to any family, any community, what happens? Just imagine what happens. It leads some sort of emotional disturbances.
Loneliness.
Loneliness, yeah, loneliness. Okay, anxious, depression, distress. So these non-fulfillment of love and belongingness needs some sort of depression, some sort of social withdrawal. Yes? Yeah. Now, fourth one, extreme needs. We need to do something. Our self-image, self-confidence, self-concept, always be positive on the person's, his own self. So if he is not happy with his own self, what happens? It also leads some sort of maladaptive behavior. Then finally, self-actualization needs are not fulfilled. When individuals are unable to achieve the personal growth, self-fulfillment, and the realization of their potential, they may experience a sense of unfulfillment and frustration. Non-fulfillment of these self-actualization needs leads some sort of frustration. This frustration can lead to maladaptive behavior such as apathy, escapism, or you can say no purposelessness of the life. So already discussed it, there are some needs of hierarchy Abraham Maslow, how the needs are fulfilled, and if the needs are not fulfilled, non-fulfillment of needs also leads some sort of maladaptive behavior. Got it? Now, so we discussed the humanistic approach of Carl Rogers as well as Abraham Maslow, and Abraham Maslow needs of hierarchy of needs, and what happens if these needs are not fulfilled. Now, according to the Carl Rogers person-centered approach, what is person-centered approach? Our next subtopic is person-centered approach of Carl Rogers. Carl Rogers, humanistic psychologist, developed the person-centered approach. It is also known as the client-centered approach. Person-centered approach or client-centered approach. This is also known as the client-centered technique, CCT or PCT. Okay, this approach focuses on creating and supportive of non-judgmental therapeutical procedures. Here are some sort of
Excuse me,
technique.
sir.
Yeah, yes.
Sir, I have a doubt here.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, when you explained about the Maslow hierarchy of needs, like you mentioned that the basic needs, like I have read this book also. Like I'm reading the book, like while you are explaining the topic. He mentioned that once you fill with the physiological needs, then you will go to the safety needs, and once you satisfy with the safety needs, then you will go to the social needs. So it's a hierarchy. Like once we fill with some needs, then we'll go to the next needs. That what Maslow is saying, right?
Yeah.
I understand, right? So, is it applicable to Indians too? Because why I'm asking this question, because I have seen many monks and Buddhists, they are not even don't have the clothes and the food and water, whatever you're saying, the physiological and safety needs, but they are still going to the topmost layer of the Maslow hierarchy of needs. That's the self-actualization, like knowing about themselves and the purpose of meaning of the life. So they are not fulfilling the basic needs and the physiological needs and the esteem needs and the safety needs, but they are going to the topmost level. But Maslow mentioned that once the person filled with the basic needs and the psychological needs, then only will go with the self fulfillment needs. So I want to know that whether the Maslow hierarchy of needs will applicable to the Indian population, or it's only for the because you wrote in because of the Western culture. Because I recently read
Can you give
in
one
some
example of not fulfillment of any of this need? Can you give one example of any of this need not fulfillment? Any example?
sir, I didn't
You're
get you.
talking about the Indian society structure, the structure of Indian society, and you're asking
Yes,
that this Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs are applicable to our Indian society or not. And also your
exactly.
doubt is that in some cases, some exception or some cases, their needs are not fulfilled. Are you sure that their needs are not fulfilled?
Yes, sir. Like, think about the monks, like who are busy in doing their yoga or some puja in Himalayas. Are they worrying about their belonging needs? Because they don't have any family members. Even they won't reveal their family details, and they not belong to any particular sector, and they are not worrying about their safety also. They live on the roads and they live on some caves or somewhere else. So in that context, so they are not worrying about their safety and the physiological needs. They are worrying about the self actualization, which is they are knowing about the meaning of the life. So in that context, the Maslow hierarchy of needs will be applicable in that sense, because I have read something about these monks in some textbook called some Indian psychology. They're like Annamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, which is more or less similar to the Maslow hierarchy of needs. But in Indian context, the Maslow hierarchy needs is very different, far different from the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and the finally Anandamaya, which is equals to the self-actualization. But the Indian psychologists are in that book they are arguing that there is no need of fulfilling the physiological and the psychological needs to attain the moksha or the self-actualization. But when it comes to the Maslow, is the one person who will say that if you fulfill your basic and psychological needs, then only you will attain moksha, which is self-actualization or the self-fulfillment. So in these both arguments, I'm in a confusion that like who is correct, whether it's in Indian psychology or it's in Western psychology. Like uh, does the Maslow's didn't think about the Indians while like evolving this thing?
To interrupt, he spoke about the general human. It is not about the Indian or Western people. What I feel is that he spoke about the Indian people, general human behavior. And once leave it about the other this thing, like if you wanted to do any meditation or do wanted to do any puja or whatever the pray you wanted to do, without having food, will you be able to concentrate on or like wanted to do puja? No, right? Because our concentration will be on the food or are hungry. So in this terminology, what I feel like, if you wanted to go a step ahead, then like, basic needs. If you're not, if your hunger is satisfied, then you'll be able to think the uh, uh, puja or prayer, whatever you wanted to do. General one or like example, Ramana Maharshi or whatever saint you take, whichever saint you take, he experienced all those things, and then he was focusing on the what happens to the next. That is what what I wanted to say. I'm sorry if it is wrong, but what I felt by your question is that 99% of the people generally they think about the uh, basic needs only. Very few they will be like, very
Singh, may I explain, Karo? Can I explain this? Okay, your doubts?
you can count on fingers. Very few people are there. They still surviving by sunlight, or some will take only water. They come to that stage. First, they have satisfied all their needs. Then they were like focusing on what is happening. Then they were exist first.
See, if your Krishnaji, your doubt is that monks, whether they fulfill their all needs or not, that is your doubt. I'll explain. Okay, first one is basic needs. So basic needs, as I mentioned, air, water, shelter, or maybe food. These needs are fulfilled even in that case also, no? Number one. Number two, safety and security. Initially, in their childhood stage, in their infant stage, in their pre-childhood stage, even that example, even monks also, they belong to some families, no? Initial stages. So safety and security needs are also fulfilled in that cases, in those cases. Third one, love and belongingness. They belong to certain communities, certain families. So the third one also fulfilled. And come to the fourth one, need of self-image. Why don't they have self-image? Self-respect, positiveness of their own life, that also fulfilled. Finally, anyway, they are in the right path. So self-actualization also, the need of self-actualization also fulfilled. So all the needs are fulfilled in those cases also. Is it okay, Krishna?
No, not. It's not my doubt, sir.
Mm-hmm.
It is Arun's
Your doubt is that these Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs are applicable to our Indian society.
No, sir.
Sir, it's mine, sir. It's Arun. It's me, sir.
Arun has initiated a doubt, and Sarita madam has supported it. My understanding of Maslow's theory is, at one stage, when I read this Maslow's theory, at one stage, self-actualization is differing from certain people one to one another. Say for an artist, he finds himself better and happy and ecstatic or blissed when he is performing his art. Another man, a richness. Another man, some other thing. Like that, it differs from a self-actualization stage. There is
the professional aspects may be different. The goals may be different. The achieving the goals or reaching the goals are maybe different to person to person. But self-actualization need is fulfilled or not in their cases.
Yes, you are right, sir.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Now the next one is the next topic is it okay? Self-actualization is even applicable to our Indian society also.
Sir, that's what I'm saying, sir.
Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs it is applicable to any society, even including Indian society.
Sir, in that case, you are saying that some monks are who are living in Himalayas. You are saying that they already they completed their childhood and they lived with their family and they are in Himalayas. Yes. That's what you are saying, right, sir?
Yes.
So in that case, even I also satisfied with my physical needs. I have food and have a good home to stay. That's my safety need. And I belong to some family. That's my belongingness needs. So now I'm in a stage of self-actualization phase, or I'm still in a physiological needs. In that case, then why I'm not attaining the phase of the self-actualization? Like in the examples you given,
What is
the
your
monk,
age? What is your age now?
25, sir.
So self-actualization is lot. We have your own this thing, no, future course of time, no. So in 25 years, how can you get a self-actualization?
Sir, you said the monks already had their food, and they already had their belonging, their family, and they already had their home and everything. So you, when I gave the examples of monks, you said because of they had their food, home, and belonging, that's why they are in the phase of the self-actualization, but they are not caring about their everything. So in that context, even though I have all those things, then why I'm not attaining the moksha? And one more doubt is like, does
I mean, the nearby areas, I mean, like your neighborhood areas impact a lot, what I feel. Probably. Is that sir?
Yes, yes. So it depends on the individuals, no. So how you are set a goal, how you want to reach that goal, how you achieve that goal. So those are all depends on the individual's perspective, individual's lifestyle. Okay.
so, does self-actualization and attaining moksha or nirvana is the same in Indian context, or it's far different from the Maslow's hierarchy of needs and Indian
Arun,
moksha?
See. One thing I want to explain here. So previous, whatever the psychological professionals, psychologists, they're all belonging to the Western society. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now those theories are applicable to various that is societies, like even Indian society also. One best example I'll give you is automatically you'll understand slowly how we are attaining those type of theories, how we are applying those. Recently, NIPID, NIEPID, NIPID. Some of you from the heard about the NIPID, National Institute of Empowerment of Persons with Intellectual Disabilities. Okay, heard about this NIPID or NIMH?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, Government of India recently developed one intellectual IQ test. Now, whatever the IQ test till today, till recent years, all IQ tests are, most of the IQ tests are not our Indian IQ tests. Got it? BKT,
Yes, sir.
BSMS, and even DST, Development Screening Test. Okay, Wrestlers, Ways. These are all the IQ tests developed by Indian psychologists or Western or other country psychologists.
Western.
Yes, recently, for your kind information, recently, Government of India also means NIPID. Government of India means but Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment of Disabilities. They developed one IQ test, which is meant for Indian individuals, Indian society. And one important information I want to give, I am also one of the research committee member in developing that test. Got it?
Yes, sir.
I am also member of that IQ test. We already developed the test. Government of India released the government notification also, Gazette notification also. Now it is available. The test name is Indian Test of Intelligence.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now it is available. Some organizations are already ready to purchase those because previously we used to purchase the IQ test from the Western society.
Okay.
Now we developed our own test of Indian Test of Intelligence. Why I am giving this example means, why I am giving this example in this context means, so previously most of the psychologists, most of the theories of psychology are not our Indian context theories. But though they are, even this Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs also, maybe the developed by Abraham Maslow, but it is applicable to our Indian society. But slowly what happens, if there is any negative things, if there is any that is concept the test, if it is not matched with our Indian society, slowly we will modify that area.
Sir, what I'm saying is like about the Panchakoshas. I recently read about the Indian psychology. So, as the Panchakoshas are equal to the Maslow hierarchy of needs, or both are different categories? The Panchakoshas, what I am saying in Indian psychology, are Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Anandamaya, and Vijnanamaya. That's what
See, as I mentioned yesterday, we have our own even topic in this context also, in this topic also, in this subtopic also. So in our last fourth block or fifth block, we have Indian perspectives of Indian theories, Indian models of personality also. We will discuss again in those topics. Okay.
అరుణ్ గారు మీ నెంబర్ పెట్టండి ప్లీజ్. అరుణ్ గారు మీ నెంబర్ చాట్ బాక్స్ లో పెట్టండి, తర్వాత డిస్కస్ చేద్దాం.
Is it okay?
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for wasting your time, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, because we need to complete this unit.
Yeah, yes, sir. I understand.
We have our own Indian type of theories, even in this course itself.
Okay, sir. Actually, I recently read about that, like Maslow's and the Indian concept of thing. That's why I was curious to know about that. That's why I asked. I'm sorry.
Sure, we will discuss those things in our topic.
Okay, sir.
Next
thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, it's okay. Now, next one is that, so we are Roger's first, as I mentioned, CCT, client-centered approach, or PCT, person-centered approach. This person-centered approach is developed by this Carl Rogers. In this person-centered therapy, again the same unconditional positive regard is the one key concept of this person-centered approach. Number one. Number two is empathy. Even this person-centered therapy also, these two are repeated. Unconditional positive regard, no conditions from the therapist side. That is be positive with the client. That is first point in this person-centered therapy or client-centered therapy, CCT. First one is unconditional positive regard. Second is the empathy. Third one is genuinity or congruency. Genuinity or congruency. CONGRUENC. Whatever the therapist, whatever the psychologist, whatever the counselors, explanation to be having some sort of similarity. That means congruency, genuinity. Our suggestions, our advice, our counseling tips to be having some sort of genuinity. Congruency means, one example I'll give you. One of our previous, when I worked in some other organization, when the client asked about how to stop the smoking habit, that is the question, that is the doubt, that is the issue from the client. One psychologist, or you can say counselor, the therapist, he advised that, so if you want to stop that cigarette smoking, better to, because he is a laborer, he is an daily wages person. Okay, so maybe cigarettes or tamago or bidi, whatever it may be. The question was that how to stop my smoking. That was the doubt, that was the issue from the client side. So the therapist, the counselor, has given the reply by saying, so you better to purchase one packet of kaju. Whenever you have that idea of smoking of cigarette or bidi, you better to take that kaju and you consume that kaju. Is it okay with that type of suggestion?
No, it doesn't work, sir.
Why?
It doesn't satisfy his need of smoking.
Number one. Number two, here I am talking about the is it the genuine suggestion? Any genuinity is there in giving that type of advice from the counselor? As I mentioned, his income is very limited. He is a daily wages person, daily wage labor. Hardly he will earn some 300 to 400 per day.
Kaju is not affordable for him.
the cost effective is more. This cost is more compared to the cigarette or BD. So whatever the suggestion, whatever the advice we are giving should be genuine. Okay, that should be suitable to the condition of the client. That is, genuinity is that. So in the client-centered therapy, one first technique is first key concept of the CCT, client-centered therapy, or PCT, person-centered therapy of Carl Rogers. Unconditional positive regard is number one. Number two is empathy. Number three is genuinity. Number four is self-concept. The person-centered approach recognize the significance of an individual self-concept. Always you have to give most priority to the individual self-concept, his belief systems, his attitudes, his aspirations, his environment. So that is the fourth one, key concept of this client-centered therapy or person-centered therapy. Self-concept, you have to give the most priority to the self of the individual. Fifth one is client-centered therapy, primarily a therapy, but it is the non-directive therapy. As I mentioned, directive therapy, approach are the mixed approaches in this counseling psychology, in psychological counseling. Directive counseling means all directions, all suggestions will be given from the client, that is counselor. But whereas non-directive counseling, so what are the directions we have to give? Should be limited directions out of the client's environment, out of the client capabilities. We need to give the directions. Means better to ask the options from these are the 1, 2, 3, first option, second option, third option. Which option you wanted to choose? We are not giving any direction. Just non-directive counseling is, but it is non-directive counseling only better to apply in this client-centered therapy. That name itself is a client-centered, person-centered, means it is the center, the main focus of this therapy. Main center of this CCT is client. So we have to give the topmost priority to the belief system, to the capabilities, potentialities of the client. So that is the client center. Last one is self-actualization and personal growth. So improve his insight. Though the capabilities are there in the person, but he may not be in a position to identify those capabilities, these capacities, their competencies. Our role is that to show his competencies in order to improve his self-actualization. Ask the client, ask the individual to ask them to identify their own capabilities. So in the process of self-actualization, in process of self-growth, we are the facilitators. We have to work as a facilitator, as a counselor. Any doubt hearing this?
Sir, as we have taken the recent example, as you said, the person who is how to stop smoking. In that case, how we have to give important, how can we apply this client-centered therapy, non-directive method? How we can convey the person, what can...
Nice, good. So see, here in this case of any addiction like cigarette smoking, alcohol, so ask them what are the financial, that is the consequences, negative consequences of financial they need to face. Ask the client, no need of explaining all those things. For example, per day, his income is 300 or 400 per day. Ask the person, so what is your income? So my income is 400 per day. Okay, what is your expenditure per day? Maybe some 200 or 250 per day. Or you can say per month, per week, you can say. So if you spend 150 rupees only on the cigarette smoking, out of your 300 rupees, out of your 400 rupees income per day, 50% of your income is you are spending only on the cigarette smoking. Just ask the client. So these type of questions or this type of information you need to get from the client, so that he will himself or she will himself understand about the negative consequences of his behavior. Number one. Number two, what are the family consequences, health consequences? Ask them. So here you are improving his insight.
Okay.
Got it? So
Okay.
that you will think of it. Hey, yes, it's correct only. So my income is 300 per day. I am spending 150 rupees only on smoking, only on my habits, only on drinking. So what happens? It leads some sort of health issues.